Anna Gross, and I am with the OAUG, and would like to welcome you to the EAM SIG webinar. I have a few session announcements before our speakers begin. First, all attendees will be on mute and listen-only mode during the presentation. If you do experience any audio or technical difficulties, please send a message to the organizer through the chat window or the question box on your screen. I will assist you as much as possible without disrupting the presentation. Second, a question and answer session will be held at the end, so please send your questions through the question window on your screen, and you can send them as they arise, and we will save all the questions until the end, and I'll be happy to read those out loud for our presenters so that they can hear the question, and you can all hear the question and the answer. And finally, we are recording this session today. You will receive an email notice in a few days after the session has completed with a link to the website so that you can access this recording. And without any further ado, I would like to welcome and thank Mark Douglas and Pat Rudolph for today's presentation. All right, take it away, fellas.
You bet. Good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining us today. In this session, you'll hear directly from an end-user customer about how a mobile solution improved the way technicians were interacting with Oracle EAM, as well as the benefits to the company overall. Next slide. If I could sum up what Ventureforth does in a single slide, this is it. Our goal is to take all the power of Oracle and present it to users in a way that's both intuitive and mobile, even if the user is miles away from network connectivity. Next slide. As Anna mentioned, my name is Pat Rudolph, and I run sales at Ventureforth. More importantly, I'm fortunate to have Mark Douglas joining me today. Mark should be interesting because he's got the credibility of a hands-on maintenance technician, but also the knowledge of IT and business processes. He gets why it's important to make sure the company is getting good data from maintenance. Next slide. Very briefly, I'd like to give an overview of Ventureforth and what we bring to the market, and then I'll turn it over to Mark for some real-world use cases. Ventureforth has been around since 1995. We're headquartered in Atlanta, and our employees and our customers are scattered around the world. We're focused exclusively on extending Oracle applications to users. We're not distracted by other back-end systems like SAP or Maximo. We only do Oracle. Next slide. We use the term vMobile to refer to a suite of pre-built and pre-integrated mobile applications that are tied into Oracle, PeopleSoft, and JD Edwards systems. Today, we're going to focus on vWork, which is our mobile work order solution for Oracle EAM. We also have applications focused on inventory, including disconnected WMS, asset auditing using barcodes or RFID, fleet maintenance, and a host of others. Next slide. One of the benefits of our mobile applications are that we support all major operating systems, including iOS, Android, Windows, and Windows Mobile. Next slide. As you can see from this iOS example, we're not simply stretching the screen to fill the real estate. Our applications are formatted to take advantage of the specific platform that they're running on. Next slide. Probably the major advantage that we have is that all our mobile applications run in disconnected or offline mode. Users don't have to worry about the application stopping if they lose connectivity. They can roam in and out of coverage, or as Mark will explain in a bit, stay offline for extended periods of time. Because we're not browser-based, users aren't sitting around waiting for their screens to refresh. Transactions happen locally on the device, and they're synchronized to Oracle when the user gets back to network coverage. Lastly, because we've been building disconnected mobile applications for about 15 years now, we've learned a lot of the tricks about preserving battery life, such as shutting down the radio if the user is out of coverage for a long period of time. Next slide. This is our architecture at a very high level. On the left-hand side, you've got your Oracle instance, and our integration to Oracle is pretty elegant. It's a single Ventureforth schema that gets inserted into the database. That schema then uses public APIs to build views that are presented on the mobile device and to write information back into the appropriate tables. The next level to the right is our vMobile server, which is built on Oracle WebLogic. Mobile devices shown on the right-hand side communicate with the vMobile server over an encrypted transport layer. Next slide. Our distributed architecture, which was originally designed for offshore oil and gas customers, places a small node server on each vessel or rig. Mobile devices on that vessel communicate with the local node server even when there's no satellite connection back to shore. This way, technicians can update their work, and supervisors can check the status of work, reassign work, and approve purchase recs, all while disconnected. When there is satellite coverage, the node server synchronizes with the Oracle instance back on shore. This architecture has proven pretty popular not only in oil and gas, but also with some DoD branches that operate at sea. Next slide. Because we've been building mobile apps for maintenance for so many years, we've got a lot of functionality in our product. Everything from quality plans, asset routes, attachments both up and down, meter readings, supporting DFFs, and the list goes on and on. Basically, if it's in EAM and it's related to the way a technician executes their work, we've got it covered. Next slide. I just want to show a screenshot of our newest user interface, which was designed to be very, very simple for a technician to use. I basically got my list of work orders on the left-hand side of the screen, and then the right side changes based on the context. My default view when I click on a work order is the list of operations, so I know what steps I need to take. Next slide. If I click on quality plans on the dock at the bottom of the screen, then my view changes so I can enter the collection results. And again, it's just meant to be very simple. The user can click through very easily to perform the task they're looking at. Next slide. Because we are deployed in several Department of Defense agencies, we've gone through information assurance many, many times. We support whatever user authentication is used by the customer, whether that's Oracle Single Sign-On, Active Directory, LDAP, or some other X509-based certificate server. Most importantly, and this is also a differentiator, the screens are tailored to each customer's workflow. So as you might imagine, not every customer uses Oracle EAM the exact same way. And our goal is to only show on the mobile screen what the user needs to do their job, nothing more. Again, we're trying to make this as intuitive and simple to use as possible. Next slide. About a month or so ago at the Oracle Value Chain Summit, we launched a new website and a new strategy around mobile, whereby customers can choose one of three paths. Next slide. The first path lets customers select the free Oracle mobile apps, and we even link to those apps from our website. For a tiny implementation fee, we will get those apps up and running in a customer's test environment. Next slide. If a customer needs something that Oracle doesn't offer yet, such as disconnected, Windows support, support for DFFs, personalized workflows, etc., then they can choose from our suite of pre-built apps. These also come with a fixed price implementation model, so we're really trying to take the risk out of mobile. I should also mention that last year we began porting all of our flagship products over to Oracle's Mobile Application Framework, or MAF. Our goal is to be 100% Oracle end to end. Next slide. Lastly, if a customer needs something that we don't have in our portfolio, we can build it for them. When we were porting our applications over to MAF, we built up a stable of developers internally who really, really know the framework. And we thought it made sense to utilize this talent as much as possible. Therefore, we're offering their services to those customers who need tailored apps. Next slide. Just in closing quickly, Ventureforth has been a longtime partner of Oracle's. We're a platinum partner. We participate in the Oracle Validated Integration Program. We sit on the ALM Field Advisory Board. We've been at the last 8 Open Worlds and Maintenance Summits, both as an exhibitor and a sponsor, and we're active in OAUG. With that, I'd like to turn over to Mark. And the next slide.
Next slide. Good morning. We've been a customer of Oracle for the last 2 years and Ventureforth for the last 6 years. And we've used their Ventureforth's product through 2 CMMS. Next slide. One of the benefits that we had to do with our company is we had multiple companies that were purchased or merged together with all of us doing different maintenance practices. The first thing we did approximately 8 years ago is to standardize our maintenance practices across the board. During that, we realized that we needed to do the same thing with the regulatory inspections. We were having different companies, different locations fill out their own forms. There was no consistency, and also the storage of those forms were at the local level instead of at a corporate level, and also given the access to those documents. So our process also requires that technicians and crafts to receive planned emergency work orders through a disconnected or connected solution, and also have the ability to write work requests, enter deviations to why the work was not completed in a given time frame, enter notes, and enter inspection data. Next slide. The goals were to increase our wrench time, not having to be tied to a laptop or is what we use as our disconnected, and to standardize our DOT and regulatory inspections, and kind of reduce the burden of the compliance audits to create a centralized documentation for all the groups to review. Also, to document the work order results electronically when they were completed. Next slide. The original overview with Oracle, we had been live with Ventureforth since that many years. When we converted over to Oracle, we wanted to convert the existing mobile look we had with the other CMMS to make the view exactly the same going into Oracle. And that's what Pat was talking about, is the customization. Most of our screens have been customized to our maintenance process and for our needs. So by converting the mobile to match exactly like it did in Oracle, I didn't have to train 1,400 users to go live. And we did a big bang switchover on March 4th of 2013, and everything went well. We closed everything on the Friday before we went live, and the technicians saw their look, and that was actually in Oracle, but they saw the same views in mobile. The work order workflow functionality, we have technicians and craft people scattered across 38 states, so we need to be work on a disconnected platform and also be able to interface with our system. The technicians usually go in on Monday morning and download, and what they do is they download their work that they have for that week. We schedule our work orders weekly, so they would connect up on Monday and they would see their work orders that they have to do that week. And they would go out into the field and fill out closed work orders, do quality plans, and whenever they would come in, either during the week or on a Thursday, Friday, or if they're sitting at a location that has Wi-Fi, they could connect up to our system and upload what they've done in the field, and then they also would download any additional work orders that were generated. Right now, we capture timesheets with work orders, numbers, and projects. We have 31 regulatory inspections. We also have gone in and added some additional quality plans that we capture through mobile that are geared towards our PMs of our rotating equipment. The techs were able to see the hierarchy that's in mobile. It's identical to Oracle. They were able to write work requests to the assets. They were, one of the things that Ventureforth did for us is because we're on 12.3, we don't have the ability to write routes or quality plans at the asset level on a route. Well, Ventureforth did some customization for us that we're able to do that. Also, we require a mandatory failure quality plan, which fills out the failure causes anytime there is an emergency work order written against the rotating asset. And the other benefit, we gave the technicians the ability to update asset attribute fields, namely the nameplate data. It made sense when they were out there doing inspections on devices, assets, valves, so forth. They would be able to make sure that the information in Oracle is correct. Next slide. The last 2 years supported the transition to Oracle. We have now 37 quality plans. We also have 1,400 users. We've added about 200 users in the last 6 months. We also lowered the craft tech training needs when we updated to Oracle. They were able to use Oracle immediately. One of the things that we did on the implementation, we went out and trained the planners first, approximately 2 months before we go live, and gave the access to the planners to EAM to just build their activities, their PMs, and go ahead and build some base data. That way, when the techs went live on March 4th, they already had work orders out there sitting ready to go. We were also able to capture our failure codes in the system using quality plans and not rely on paper copies or emails. Their techs are able to update work orders, work requests, the asset data in the field. They can do it from a disconnected product, and then when they would hook up or upload, connect to the system, they would be able to upload all the changes, and it would come into Oracle. We've also had the ability to hyperlink in the activity for needed forms. So we didn't want to transfer the actual form out, the paper forms that we do have to fill out, that we could do it through a hyperlink while they were connected. They could print it and take it with them. We wanted to make sure our connectivity speed stays up for the downloads wouldn't take that long. We're also capturing time through mobile, and it goes into their Oracle timesheets. And that way we can track our costs down to the asset level. Next slide. That's all I had.
Thank you so much, Mark and Pat. That was wonderful. All of our attendees, it looks like this is our time for question and answers. That was very thorough, lots of information covered. So that was great. I will give all of you attendees a few minutes to type in any questions that you have into the question panel, and I will then read those out loud to our wonderful presenters, Mark and Pat, and give them time to answer those questions. So please type any questions that you have into the question and answer panel. Okay, our first question is coming in. We need to know, does vWork allow search by document attachment names?
It does. So in the new UI that I showed you, there's a search bar at the top, and it does a search down to any field in the work order, whether that's an attachment name, whether that's part of the operation name, whether it's really any part of the work order at any level.
On that, Geeta? Okay. We have another question coming in from Mike. How are you performing requisitions and approvals offline?
So if they're able to write requisitions for inventory, they still have to connect up to sync up to our system to get to the approval. We do not allow approval off it's got to be a connected solution to be able to approve the recs.
Yeah, so I was going to say in our distributed architecture, we actually built out some additional functionality. So even when there's no satellite coverage out to a rig or a vessel or remote site, a user can put in a purchase requisition. Using our distributed architecture, the supervisor can approve the purchase rec even in disconnected mode, and then that will synchronize back and go into the approval workflow engine when they get satellite coverage. So there's a couple of different ways to do it, whether using centralized or distributed architecture.
Okay, great. Great questions, everyone. Next question. Were the quality plans developed in Oracle, EAM, vMobile, or both?
They are developed in Oracle. Yep.
Good question. Everybody else, these are great. Mike and Geeta, do you have clarity on your questions, and is there anyone else who has any other questions? If so, please type them into the question box, and we will keep going. This is great. Okay, we do have another question. Can the vMobile framework be integrated into existing Oracle EBS servers to eliminate additional cost and maintenance with separate servers?
It can. So again, the vMobile server runs on Oracle WebLogic, and we can either include our embedded WebLogic server, or if the customer already has WebLogic licensed from Oracle for multiple applications, they can utilize that WebLogic server. Additionally, the vMobile server can run on a VM inside the data center, so just partition off a bit of a piece of hardware.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any other questions from our attendees today? Okay, it looks like those are all of our questions for now. I'd love to say a very, very, very special thank you to Pat and Mark for putting together this very thorough presentation. I am very impressed and definitely enjoyed that. And thank you to all of our attendees for joining us today and for asking absolutely fantastic questions. This presentation will be posted on your website in the next few days. If you have any questions, please feel free to email Nicole Urbanik, who is your GeoSig coordinator with the OAUG, and we will be happy to help you in any way we can. If you are in the South, I am sending you warm wishes and safe travels no matter where you are if it is cold outside. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us, and thank you again, Pat and Mark, for a wonderful presentation.